All right, I'm excited to talk a little bit about the project I have here for this assignment. So, the vision of this assignment was to create someone going from one part of land to another in order to grab a relic and to leave the island with it. And so I was challenged with this project to create blueprints that trigger on effect of passing through locations with physics involved, as well as working on having something move to different locations based on that trigger, incorporating text, everything I worked on in last week's project, as well as having a cinematic that is built through Sequencer. So some things didn't quite work out how I was hoping it would. Still learned a lot though. I'm going to talk about the struggles that I went through and I'm still figuring out, and the some of the workarounds, as well as the things that I was able to accomplish. Just wanted to start first and foremost with the cinematic that I created through Sequencer. A lot of this is set through the transform tool with the Cine Cinema actor. You're able to click on that guy. It highlights this dude in your outliner if you're ever lost trying to find where it's at. The transform button is what allows you to set specific points based on where your camera is for the camera to rotate to. And you're able then to, through adding a track, you're able to add a character. If you can get a character that's rigged up and has animations, then you can make them do certain things like run, sit, jog, and you can place those animations during certain points to also showcase that. So we'll expand it here. So I have him jogging downhill, and then I have him sitting idle for the rest of the part. Let's go ahead and play that, and I'll just show you what that looks like. Let's see if we give you guys a full view. Awesome, so that's that. And the first one I did wasn't as impressive and it got deleted, so I'm redoing the video for the project again. But always good things in its own way because we were able to learn and do better. So we'll take it. Let's start talking about what we got going on here. So I'm gonna unbind this so I'm not following the actor, the camera that's rigged up to that. Let's talk about the first beginning parts. So I just grabbed an open world. I modeled water on top of that. One of the things I wanted to do is model the water to change as I went across it, but I was struggling to get a blueprint that would work for it. There didn't seem to be something that would affect the color of it like there was for light. So having trouble getting that set up here. I got this boat model for free that I downloaded. It came all in separate pieces, so I had to also set this up, combine the pieces into one mesh actor, make sure everything is lined up. Took actually quite a bit of time to do that, and then obviously model the landscape as well as the island in the front. This guy right here, the fire particles I've created, you won't see it in the beginning when you play, but once you cross the water, you'll be able to see it. One of the other things I have is the trigger box, as well as the text that will show up once you get onto the boat within the trigger box. It'll say, press E, and then the boat is a blueprint. And you got a lot of stuff going on here. But basically what's going on is you're calling the event to move the boat. You're setting the play rate to try and slow down the time that it takes to get there For whatever reason, I can't seem to get the right variable connected. I might be messing up on that from a video I watched to make it go slower for the movement we have set up here. So this part sets up the movement of going the distance and rubber banding back if it's interacted with again. And this allows it to be able to set in reverse. So this helps set up the math, this helps set up the action. And then you have the variable right here for the boat that sets the relative action, a relative location of where it's going. And then you see from here the timeline graph that's set up, the amount of units that it's going to go. So let's go ahead and press play real quick. You know, you have your two characters that are showcasing the scene as we saw earlier. The particles are no longer there, they disappeared. Get into the boat. It says press E. Boom, we're there. Wasn't that a quick ride? And so now we come to the gate. And at the gate, it's going to give us a voice prompt. Looks like it's locked. So we're going to look around, maybe see if there's something that can unlock it. I see something in the sand there, so we go check it out. Oh, it looks like a key. So we grab that key here. And let's go see if that will do the trick. Opens the gate, got a noise effect triggering off of that. And then we run through this part to get to the building. Once you pass through this trigger effect, then all of a sudden all these things start falling. There really wasn't much of a camera shake, if any, but I have it set up there and I'll go ahead and show you the code here. So let's take a quick look. So let's take a look at the trigger, see what's going on in this guy. Essentially, what we have set up is upon beginning play, we're going to set for this array we created of all the assets that you see here. It's going to set a loop where it's going to grab each of them at the beginning to not simulate physics. Upon beginning the overlap with the trigger one time, so it doesn't keep happening, it's going to, again, for that same loop, set it all to simulate the physics. It's going to get them one by one to then also impulse the location of just a little bit of a oomph to it. And then again, we're going to get those location of that. And at the epicenter, we're going to set up a camera shake there. And then the camera shake, we set up from a camera shake default base, what the action is going to be for that. I'm going to go ahead and just update this a little bit here. See, you know, if it gives us maybe a little bit more, since it doesn't seem to be doing much. But let's go ahead and continue playing from this spot. So looking at the map, it's a little bit bigger. Definitely could have been scaled down, at least for time's sake on the project. However, I feel with the proper amount of time, adding a lot more stage setting triggers, it really isn't that big. I think this room's looks way bigger than it is just because there's not a set design added. You know, the pillars would probably be a little bit thicker. There would be more decoration added to it. I don't think it would need to be as long. It definitely could be a lot more compacted. So one of those things I could have done better just about scaling. But ultimately, it still does a good job with showing the focal point of, hey, this is where we want. Pick up the item, item's deleted. And then here's one of the errors that I was running into here. So you have a trigger set up for the relic, and it's called relic light change because it's meant to turn the light. So upon begin play from the parent, it's going to grab the original relic that we created, because this one we created a blueprint out of it, and it's going to set the lights to turn white. And I can show you on the other side what that looks like. Upon overlapping the trigger, it's then going to destroy the actor, which we see. but then it's also supposed to turn it red. So I'm really confused on why that isn't working. That's something that I'm digging into a little bit more. Let's look at the blueprint here. We'll type in relic. So that we got this guy, the blueprint relic. Basically, we get an overlap, destroy actor. Super simple logic that it's saying there. But this guy, the relic light change from this actor. Let's go and close these guys out. Is talking about, based on this function, you're going to get the spotlight component and you're going to set the intensity. The spotlight component here, you're going to grab it and you're going to turn it on. Turn this white, turn this red, and the colors here are set up. So this is a spotlight that I want to grab. I wonder if I have to grab, rather than the relic light, which is what I set up this to be. I wonder if there's a different way that I need to change it, because I grabbed the variable and I found it here through the blueprint. Because we don't want the relic and we don't want the relic light change. We want the relic light to change. That's what's being referenced here. And so we have the right guy set up. I mean, let me go and just open that. I don't know if I need to try and change anything here, because this guy doesn't have anything that you can adjust or connect it to. And I'll show that the other one's also already connected. Yeah, so there's nothing to connect, no default. But you look here, this is connected to the right guy. Let's look at the relic light. Let's give that a go. And hey, sometimes talking it out does stuff. So if that makes a change, wonderful. All right. Let's go here. Boom. Huzzah. So talk to the duck, right? So that's how you get the light to change. Then let's just revisit that real quick. So the reason why it wasn't working is because I was missing connecting the variable that I thought I already connected. We have here calling the function the spotlight component. That's right here. We have the custom event called turn red. It's going to set the light color to this new light color here. And based on the relic light change, the trigger of that event, once the actor is destroyed, it's going to call that event and connect to the relic light to turn red from that function that we have here. Wonderful. So with all these things, I'm looking to create a project a little bit, not bigger, but just a little bit more with a story narrative to that. Add a few more voice lines, have a little bit more sequencer, give a little bit more player feedback for different things. Really try to polish it more to be like a game. So tune in for next week and see what I got.